Many consider him the heir apparent to the throne when it comes to matters Mount Kenya regional politics. I'm talking about none other than Kiharu Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. He makes for a person of interest on this yet another insightful and informative edition of Siasa Brigade here on Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Richard Mwanjem. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Great to see you, sir.
Thank you, Richard.
Today you're doing African wear.
Yes.
I'm actually doing that.
As Ndindi Nyoro will say, we are African.
And Africa is our business. You're not joking about it.
No. Let's.
All right. You said Rivertex as a company has to grow.
Correct.
Local textiles.
Correct.
How about China? We need to keep the bilateral ties going.
China should come and build roads and forget about these small things they are doing here.
All right. Perfectly all right.
Yes.
We are talking about a young man who definitely is your friend because most of these people are your friends.
Yes.
And
I know them.
Oh, you know them. And it ends there.
Yes.
Nothing beyond there.
There are those who are my friends. There are those I just know. There are those we chat. There are those like Ndindi Nyoro we met on media and so yeah.
And they cannot.
Public space.
They couldn't actually suggest your name for an appointment in the parastatals.
Then they can't.
Fake friends, you say?
People don't like me. Maybe I don't look good.
Even the brains, a think tank that you are?
No. They don't care. Who loves brains in this country? We don't value brains. Or maybe I don't have brains. Who knows?
State House needs top men there.
Yeah, maybe I'm not one of the top men.
All right, let's delve straight into this conversation. Let's start with matters to do with the most recent appointment of Ndindi Nyoro as the chairperson of the powerful Budgets and Appropriations Committee in Parliament. If you look at the history of Kenyan politics, whenever a member of parliament is probably selected for such crucial dockets to steer them, it somewhat aligns them for greater heights in the political world.
Yes.
For particularly Ndindi Nyoro, he has the advantage of edge, is now the chairman of that committee. Would you say that so much is in store for him in regards to just politics and legislation, that the stars are aligned for greater heights for him?
Ndindi Nyoro, on the face of it, has a bright future, unless there are other things to stand in his way. You could say he's educated, he's rich.
He is?
He's a little rich. He's enterprising at least in the Kenyan context. He has edge on his side. He's in the governing party. So much is for him, going for him.
All right. You've mentioned a point about unless he has other things that could set him back. And one of those things that many consider is people finding it that he's trying to steal thunder from the DP, Gachagua, when it comes to matters regional kingpinship and who just has endeared himself in the good pages of the president. There are those who believe that Ndindi Nyoro is working extra in outshining his boss when it comes to the regional politics, that is DP Gachagua. That is actually what is making headlines out here. From where you sit, on a general observation point of it, don't you think it's too early for Ndindi Nyoro to do that, if indeed he's trying to make steps towards outshining his boss?
I don't know whether Ndindi Nyoro is trying to outshine anybody, least of all Gachagua. I don't know. I've not seen it. And if you ask me, it won't be the right thing to do.
It really won't?
It won't be the right thing. What you do, you let Gachagua wear himself off in a fight against the dynasties.
That could fade away.
Because Akikuyu, in my view, Akikuyu will come back to leadership some 15,
20
the
years
earliest 15, 20 years from now.
It will go back to Mount Kenya block.
Yeah, about 20 years from now. By that time, Gachagua will have been worn out in his fight with Uhuru Kenyatta and the rest, and will be too old. So Ndindi Nyoro will be in the generation of Kikuyus who reclaim leadership for the region. That is his age group.
I see.
Because the Gachaguas, they are going to waste themselves fighting Uhuru Kenyatta. And Kenyans certainly will not elect a Kikuyu in 2032. I highly doubt it.
They really won't?
It's highly doubtful.
How about in 2027?
But that's of course most unlikely. That one is out of the question.
How is it out of the question when some people consider that the kind of power display from the side of DP Gachagua is just probably one of his antics, just so that should Ruto try to dump him in 2027, he can actually go solo on the presidency. And that, by and large, would probably mean the president going for another person in Mount Kenya.
That is speculation. I do not see Ruto and Gachagua parting ways. What will Ruto tell people? He campaigned on a platform of frustration and persecution from the president, who was his boss. How would he do the same to Gachagua? So that is unlikely to happen. It's just speculation. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. At the same time, If that were to happen, then even a 90-year-old Raila would beat, because now it will be for 3 horses, 4 horse race, and Raila will just stay in Bondo and win it, even if he's 90 years old, he'll still win.
Early morning.
Because you see now, if you remove the Kikuyu from the calendar, both of them are vulnerable. They are dead meat for any opponent. If Raila says Kalonzo Tosha, he will beat them hands down. Hands down. And if Kikuyus and Kalenjin go separate ways, Mudavadi becomes fish out of water. And therefore, Azimio side of the political divide, it takes the entire Western bloc, which is Luo and Western, Luya. And then adds on Kamba and the coast, because as it was proved last election, Ruto did not get anywhere near getting those regions. So now they will cement. Now with a divided Kalenjin and Gikuyu, the other side will just walk over to State House. So it will be a foolish move on the part of Gachagua or Ruto if they attempted that.
I see.
Yeah, they will not go anywhere.
Very well.
Yeah.
Then again, if you look at someone like Ndindi Nyoro's development scorecard in Kiharu, one of the things that endears an MP to the electorate is what they do in special matters, education, healthcare provision, and just general participation in parliament. If you look at the list for Ndindi Nyoro, he has actually ticked all those boxes. Comes matters bursary allocation, the amounts there in, the timely disbursement of funds, improvement of basic infrastructure there in. This is something that very few Mount Kenya members of parliament have achieved to do. If you go to Gatundu County, it is the home of the president, but still there are bottlenecks therein. But this man from Kiharu has actually set the bar too high. Don't you think this is one of the factors that probably will get Ndindi Nyoro probably be in politics for quite a while time? You cannot give him a lifetime of, say, 5-10 years. Yes,
but unfortunately in the politics, performance is not always the best of guarantees that you'll be re-elected.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody who gave us CDF, Engineer Karue or something, he was not re-elected. The best performing MP in that term was Hamisi from somewhere the coast. He was not elected. There have been MPs who have done spectacular work, but they are never elected.
It's never guaranteed?
Even governors. It's not about performance. Performance is the hardware. There's only the software. Some MPs are very good on the hardware, on the things on the ground, buildings, what have you. Look at Uhuru Kenyatta, for example. Kikuyus go to a point of saying we don't eat roads. One would have thought Kikuyus would be so happy with what Uhuru did, but they say we don't eat roads.
The Mau Mau Road and so forth.
The things he did, that is hardware. The software unaguza watu, unawaguza kidogo. Sometimes as stupid as just giving people 100 shillings. Some MPs entertain people in their homes and they do nothing and get re-elected. Because people come home, wanakunywa chai, wakitoka kila mtu 200. Come election time, cut.
Asubuhi na mapema.
Yeah. So, politics is the most unpredictable game.
So he has to strike a balance between the two, both software and hardware.
Ndindi Nyoro, to be fair to him, has done far greater than most MPs in this country, not just in Central.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. But if you look at his outburst personality, he is not a coward. He will come and talk boldly about what he feels doesn't sit right with him. Would you say that probably his outburst personality is only because he enjoys the immunity of the president? He was one of his chief campaigners. He was the one who tried to defend him on most occasions. Is it just because he's enjoying the immunity?
Yeah, it's also, but Ndindi Nyoro has always been outspoken, even when he was with Uhuru. He was the one who was saying we should bring more GSU, more tear gas, more things to deal with these people. He said a number of things I can't remember. So it is his nature. It's just like Moses Kuria. And that can be your undoing. Sometimes when people are looking for a leader, they are looking for a serious person. And that image of a serious person doesn't come through. So you wrestle with the issue image, and somebody who performs less than you then gets elected. Yeah, or given leadership.
I see.
But once in a while, people ignore image and just go for the mouth, the demagogy, or what you are doing. So politics it can be nothing. It can be your tongue, demagogue, how sweet. It can be what you have done on the ground. It can just be what you do to people. Handouts.
Right. Very well.
Yeah.
Before we bring this conversation to an end, because of time, the interest of time, for Ndindi Nyoro, He is now serving, if I'm not wrong, his second term in parliament as a member of parliament. Would you say going for a higher position, say governorship, in 2027 is quite a far-fetched dream and him being overambitious? Do you think if he's going to try his hand in governorship, he can actually wrestle a number of big names therein?
You know, counties are very complex. So going for governorship is not always that you are good. Sometimes it is arithmetics of this clan versus this clan, of who is senator, who is the women rep, where do you come. You could find that both of you come in the same constituency with the senator, with the sitting governor, and is going for re-election. There are all those complex,
Dynamics.
simple little dynamics, simple little things, but which at the end of the day affect the numbers. You could be popular, but could you control more counties, sub-counties or constituents than Irungu Kangata? How is Muranga politics divided? Yeah? Demographically and so on and so forth, geographically and everything like that. So those things have to be considered before you just say you are going for. But certainly, by 2027, Ndindi Nyoro should be a more formidable candidate for governor than any of those people from Muranga.
How about if someone considers taking a stab at the presidency, and out of the names probably that are potential for the nomination is Ndindi Nyoro? Would you say that now will have been him shooting, punching above his weight when being a running mate to someone as a DP?
Again, it depends where will the Kikuyus be in that equation of 2027. 2027 or 2032?
2027.
2027, I can see Ruto going with the Gachagua. So there's no way. Unless you are saying Ruto could take Ndindi Nyoro sort of Gachagua.
As a DP.
It is a possibility, but you'll be inviting a lot of trouble from Gachagua. And Gachagua is not a pushover, you know that. He can start a lot of trouble for Ruto. A lot of it. He can start a lot of trouble. And then, if you didn't give Gachagua running mate in 2027, you are Ruto. And you have not given it to Mudavadi. So you lose whatever little support you could have gotten from Western Kenya. Because the only way you can skip Gachagua is if you give Mudavadi.
Or Wetangula.
Not, but most likely, even Wetangula. But I don't see Ruto doing that. How will he face the country if he goes against Gachagua in the manner in which Uhuru went against him? So I don't see those. That's just speculation. For Ndindi Nyoro, time is on his side. If he came for advice, I'll tell him bid your time, because Gachagua watamalizana wenyewe na kina Uhuru Kenyatta. Watagongana hapo.
Visu vitaumana.
Watagongana na watakuwa visubutu. In other words, Gachagua's knife will not cut because of gonganaring with Uhuru and the rest. With the dynasties, Gachagua is yet to find. Give him a year. Give Uhuru a year or two. Then the surface is when the Gachagua will know you don't kill dynasties easily. They don't die easily. Everywhere in the world, oligarchs, they don't disappear. They only disappear in a revolution.
Not in a split second.
No, not in a normal democratic election. You can't finish these people. They are so entrenched. They have so much money. And their money is all money. You know what kind of network the Kenyattas have?
Influential friends.
Yeah, influential friends in and outside the country. When you begin to go head on with them, then you realize when the euphoria of election has died, the dust of the election has settled, then there's no dust. Then Uhuru comes from where you meet him face to face. Then you realize you are meeting a giant. That's the time now Gachagua will come to his senses that hiyo centro ina wenyewe. Na wenyewe ni hao oligarchs. At that time, he will continue to punch, but he will exhaust himself. And that's how Ndindi Nyoro and his generation come in.
Will rise.
When the Kikuyus have been out of power for a while, and they are thirsting for power, and they will be united, and they will have learned to work with the rest of the country. At that time, the Ndindi Nyoros could be running mate to a man from Nyanza or Western, or Ukambani or Coast.
And they head to State House just like that.
Yes.
There you have it from Herman Manyora, sharing nuggets of wisdom on the political future of Ndindi Nyoro and probably what he needs to tap into today, if not yesterday. Well, of course, let's bring that conversation to an end there. But let me remind you, you should continue supporting us here on Nairobi Review. Remember, we pay bills to get you such awesome productions. So in a way that you can, please join the bandwagon and send us your little request. Donation. We have our M-Pesa numbers there in our till number. And it's just not about monetary assistance. If you are a designer, you can come here and dress Herman Manyora, Jadiel Kabir, and a number of hosts. If you do Deca, you have a shop for Deca, you can donate some for us here. That, in a way, is supporting and believing in this dream that is Nairobi Review. Until next time, on Siasa Brigade, my name is Richard Mwenjo. Indeed, always a pleasure.